I'm really enjoying Starfield. I even loved what some have described as the slow start. In fact, in my humble opinion, the game wasn't slow at all in the beginning. But this is a point that's been made so many times, many of the people repeating it are probably doing so because they've heard others say it many times. This only proves to me that the power of suggestion is very powerful. But one other point people are making about Starfield is how it suffers from not being the many things that it could have been, which is sort of moronic because you could literally say that about any video game. For instance, Death Stranding could have been many things that it clearly wasn't. It could have had more gameplay, more variations of enemies, and a lot less of those insufferably long cutscenes. It could have had more discoverable locations of interest that was loaded with the enemies or information relating to the game's lore. Mass Effect, which is my favorite game series of all time, could have allowed you to land on planets in search of resources and allowed more opportunities for Star Wars style space combat. It also could have allowed for a few opportunities for Commander Shepard to fly the Normandy. Red Dead Redemption 2 could have had more fast travel locations, especially at the beginning of the game, and the beginning didn't have to be such a slow burn, which I enjoyed personally, but you know. And last but not least, one of my personal wishes, Halo Infinite could have implemented a third person or over-the-shoulder view of Master Chief so that we could view him in all of his awesomeness while in combat. That's something I've wanted in Halo since the first one. All that said, very recently, a mainstream gaming media journalist decided to join the ranks of those who have written negative reviews of Starfield. Because these types of reviews draw clicks from gamers on both sides of the argument, it has become almost fashionable to write these types of Starfield hit pieces. The journalist, who will go unnamed, hated so much about the game, any reader paying attention would have asked, dude, why did you even bother to review the game? Because most of the things he hated about Starfield was already known about the game years ago. But this journalist and his kind isn't what's been catching my attention lately. This article came to my attention on an Xbox-centric YouTube channel where they frequently have other Xbox-centric YouTube influencers as panel guests. As a PC gamer that loves both Game Pass and Starfield, I follow a lot of these channels, and for the most part, they're very well presented. But occasionally there will be that one guest influencer that says things that I find a little suspect at best. One of the things I've noticed while following these channels is, you Xbox fans have an abundance of Xbox influencers that go to extremes not to seem too biased. This is something you don't commonly find on the PlayStation side. And on the PlayStation side, this is even a problem in the mainstream media. It's difficult not to notice all of the Xbox influencers repeatedly stating that Starfield isn't a perfect game. While watching one show, it was repeated 8 times within an hour. Yeah, I actually counted because I needed to make sure that this wasn't my imagination. But it's a completely unnecessary statement because there is no such thing as a perfect game. And why does Starfield have to be perfect, and why does so many Xbox influencers keep saying this? Of course it's not perfect. It's a video game that was created by human beings, not God. You know, if God really existed. One Xbox influencer went way out of his way to say he agreed with the Starfield hit piece that went on and on about how disappointing it was that there was no seamless landing on a planet from outer space in Starfield. But while playing the game, how could you possibly be disappointed about a game feature that you knew wasn't going to be in the game for a very long time now? The marketing run-up for Starfield wasn't like the marketing run-up for Death Stranding. There wasn't this cloud of secrecy over it. A lot of people were disappointed with Death Stranding because they didn't have a full understanding of what the game was about. That isn't the case with Starfield. I enjoyed Death Stranding for what it was, but that was only because I played it like 2 years after its original release. Had I bought it on its launch day, I would have been pretty pissed off. But knowing what it was, going in knowing what it was, I would have looked like an idiot playing it and saying, yeah, I'm not enjoying this, because I knew what it was before I started playing it. Early adopters of the game were justifiably pissed off, and while it's not fair really to assume things about a game if you don't know those things, at the same time you can kind of understand why they would have thought that the game probably was going to be like Kojima's past works. Now there are those who are going to come up with the Kojima excuses saying, well, they did say it was a walking simulator and they did say you would be delivering packages. Yeah, they were saying that, but that doesn't necessarily mean that that's all it was. So people just naturally assume that, yeah, that's what they're telling us now. They're going to leave it for us to discover what the game is really about once we start playing it. It's not like that's uncommon. But now people are taken back by the fact that Starfield was released in a much better condition than most imagine. Now you have people practically celebrating each time a glitch is discovered and applying hyperbolic video titles that equate Starfield glitches to some sort of scandal. People were so busy trying to find anything negative about Starfield because it's an Xbox ecosystem exclusive, they totally missed what should have been the real scandal, and that is the Xbox credit card that can go well over a 30% interest rate. And by the way, if you get that thing, because it does come with some great gamer benefits, just make sure that you pay that thing off every month. I was surprised that this story didn't blow up more than it did. I mean, you do have some people that talked about it, but you have more people that know Starfield has glitches than know Xbox decided to take advantage of all of the good positive news surrounding them lately by introducing a credit card that has an interest rate that should be illegal. Now they do have a lower interest rate, I think it's like 20-something%, but 30% is kind of savage. I mean, if a person has bad credit, and that's what it's based on. In other words, if you have bad credit, you're gonna get the card that's like, I think it's 31-something%. But if you already have bad credit, that's the thing you don't need in your life right now, is another credit card with over a 30% interest rate. You need to be trying to pay off the debt that you currently have, not accruing more debt. But man, I'm just looking at the video landscape, and when it comes to Starfield, there are some people who really are tripping and they are broken about this game. I'm noticing all of these weird titles like, which is better, Mass Effect or Starfield? Which is better, Starfield or this game? Starfield or that game? Starfield or No Man's Sky? I mean, I have never seen a game that has broken so many people, totally broken their minds. And it's like they're desperate to just try to tear this game down in any way they can. And man, look, the only revenge that we just have to keep enjoying the game right in front of their faces. Apparently this is bothering them. It's really bothering them. So you don't need to go into their timelines or anything like that. You don't need to attack people. That's one of the reasons why I don't mention any names. You notice I didn't mention the journalist's name, and I did not mention any of the Xbox influencers that, like I said, they say things to me that's a little bit suspect, and they reach a little too far trying to seem like they're not biased. I mean, I'm not saying that we need a shit ton of Xbox influencers that can match the craziness of some of the PlayStation influencers. That's not what I'm saying. You can stick with the facts. You know, you don't always, it's like even the most insane takes, there's always someone on these Xbox panels who always have to try to look at it from the journalist's point of view. Even when it's clear that this journalist is attacking Starfield, is attacking the Xbox ecosystem. Even when that's clear, it never fails. There's always one. But if you flip that over and you look at like a PlayStation panel and someone on the Xbox side is clearly doing something wrong, whether it be an influencer or it be Microsoft themselves or whoever, or Todd Howard or Phil Spencer, these people are going to go all in. They're going to act like the worst crime was committed. There's a higher chance on a PlayStation panel that you will not find anyone who would try to look at the situation unbiasedly than you would on an Xbox panel. You are almost guaranteed, if you get 5 people that are Xbox influencers, you're guaranteed to get at least one that wants to try to look at the point of view of the person who's doing the attacking on Starfield or Xbox or Phil Spencer or whatever. You guys have people who are representing your side, some of them, not all of them, that are too apologetic, because there was one Xbox influencer that was checking the one that I was talking about earlier, and I was glad to see that. He was basically saying a lot of things that I wanted to say. So every time that Xbox influencer who was saying that sus, you know, making those sus comments, every time he said something that was kind of sus, the other guy, he did it professionally. He was very nice, but he checked him perfectly. So I'm not saying all of them are like that, But all I'm saying is I think that some of these people who are Xbox influencers are trying to keep certain doors open, and they're trying too hard not to burn certain bridges. Because one of the things I noticed as I listen to them talk, they drop a lot of industry names. So anytime you get people out here who know a lot of people in the industry, especially when they keep saying, yeah, you know, I met him here and I chatted with this guy and chatted with that guy. And yeah, I met that journalist. He's a pretty good guy. I ran into him at this place and that place, and he's really cool. A lot of these people are careerists, and there's nothing wrong with that. But you can still have some integrity and not say things that are so suspect about that. You can still say, hey, you know what? I met this guy on a personal level. The guy's a really cool guy, but I completely disagree with this article he wrote. And I'm going to professionally and calmly dismantle what he said and state my opinion. I don't know, man. It seems really suspect to me. Like I said, I'm not saying Xbox influencers have to be all crazy and start going into the realm of insanity and saying things that aren't true. But at the same time, you know, just stop being so apologetic every time Xbox does something positive. Stop being apologetic about Xbox exclusives. You know, that's another thing some of them seem to be a little weak on. They want to talk about how, well, you know, I don't like exclusives. And to be clear, I don't like exclusives, but I'm not going to keep pounding that subject. The way I feel about exclusives is this. As long as Nintendo and PlayStation have exclusives, everyone should be able to have exclusives. There should be no such thing as a company that should be handcuffed by not being able to have exclusives. And it seems like there's some people out there. There's even one journalist, I'm not going to say her name, but she even said, I love this person. I think she's very intelligent, but sometimes we have brain farts. She even said, well, look, I know everyone's saying PlayStation has exclusives, but PlayStation has always done that. I mean, what kind of logic is that? That because if you view something as wrong because she said that she thought exclusives were wrong, or if you think something is wrong just because someone has been doing that wrong for a long time, that excuses them for it? I mean, where does that end? I mean, to what degree can the wrong be wrong before we finally say, okay, that doesn't make any sense? I think we should just say that doesn't make any sense, period. Okay, wrong is wrong. If you view something as wrong, then it's wrong, and nobody should be able to do wrong carte blanche and just get away with it. So, and then you look at the recent interview with Insomniac by Michael Pachter. And Insomniac told Michael Pachter that PlayStation did not help to create Spider-Man or develop Spider-Man. By the time they came along and put money on it, they put a ring on it because they practically married the damn game. The game was already developed. That's according to what Insomniac told Michael Pachter. So this whole thing about Starfield not being an Xbox game because Xbox, you know, they bought the game after it was already developed, you know, that's ridiculous. You're saying it's not an Xbox exclusive because, you know, Xbox didn't help to create Starfield. And by the way, Xbox did help make Starfield what it is. They sent Bethesda and Todd Howard they sent them some people. They sent them a team of people to help them with the game, to help get it to a state where it is. It was Xbox who told Bethesda that, hey, we're not going to release this game right now. We need to delay this game for a year. And they sent some people over to help them get the game to the quality that it is. And yeah, it's quality. It's a huge game. Of course it has. It has glitches. Who didn't expect that? Of course it has glitches. But anyway, guys, I'm going to go ahead and end it right there. If you liked the video, please give it a like. And if you didn't like it, still give it a like, or you can give it a thumbs down if you want to. And you can even go down in the comment section and say you disagree with me, as long as you're respectful and don't act batshit crazy. Disagreeing with me is totally fine, especially if you're being respectful to other people. All right, guys. So like I said, give it a like, interact with the video. It does make a huge difference. Comments even make a huge difference, especially to someone with a very small channel like mine. I'm trying to grow the channel. And hey man, you know what? It looks like you guys on the Xbox side, like you need more good representatives. And trust me, I love me some Starfield. I love me some Game Pass. So I like what the Xbox company is putting out. So help me grow the channel so you can get more people out there that aren't saying suspect things, okay? Go ahead and hit that like button. Hit that like button. But anyway, guys, let me stop begging. Hey guys, enjoy the rest of the weekend and stay safe.